So that is officially all she wrote for the Ravens and Justin Tucker. After 13 years, the Ravens finally decided to cut ties with him. And this comes after Justin Tucker being in the news for a lot of very unfortunate reasons. I'm sure you're all very well aware of what those reasons are. Him and Deshaun Watson have a lot in common. And it's just kind of crazy, man. I just remember in the mid 2010s, I feel like the NFL network gave this guy a lot of airtime because not only was he a great kicker and arguably one of the greatest kickers of all time, but he was also like an opera singer. And I just remember every time I watched the NFL network back in the mid 2010s, NFL films, I feel like he was always making an appearance, but just crazy, man. You never know what someone is really like behind closed doors or when they're not in front of a camera with all of the lights. And even before all the news came out about Justin Tucker and the spas and all that stuff, he definitely fell off quite significantly the last couple of years, so kind of a no-brainer move for the Ravens. In fact, maybe people in the organization are kind of glad that the news came out, just because if the news never came out, I feel like some fans would be upset with the Ravens for parting ways with Tucker, just because, like I said, he's arguably one of the best kickers in NFL history. So just a really easy business decision for the Baltimore Ravens, man. Is this the end of Justin Tucker? I think that's totally dependent on how he handles the off the field stuff. If, he gets charged or gets jail time, I don't know. He probably won't play in the NFL again, but if those charges and all those allegations slowly go away, then I'm sure he'll get another shot at some point, maybe in the middle of the 2025 season or the 2026 season if he still wants to play. I feel that way only because kickers in general in the NFL, especially the last 10 years, I feel like it's just a revolving door of teams just like swapping kickers every season. So Justin Tucker is definitely way past his prime, but I still think he could probably be efficient and effective to a team that is in need of a decent kicker at this point. So you let me know if you think Justin Tucker will ever play in the NFL again, or do you think he is completely done? It would just be hilarious if the Browns signed him. I just think that would just be poetic and just a different level of just comedy right there. So maybe keep your eye on that one. And the Ravens were expecting to make this move for probably quite some time now. I don't know why they waited so long, but just recently in the draft, they took Tyler Loop in the 6th round, so they were preparing for this move. And speaking of the Ravens and controversial players and the draft, they drafted Mike Green. Now, this dude has been accused of some pretty crazy stuff. I don't even want to mention it because I don't want to get flagged or demonetized or whatever, even though I don't even make any coin from this. But Mike Green in high school, he was accused of SA twice in high school. Now, if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is, man. And yeah, to be honest, I'm not too familiar with this game, but there's a reason why he dropped so far down a lot of draft boards. And it's kind of funny, man. For the past 10 years, I just feel like the AFC North has kind of been the convict division in the NFL. Obviously, you have the Steelers with Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, the Browns with all their recent transactions, Watson, Kareem Hunt, even maybe Johnny Manziel. Point I'm trying to make here is just, I don't know, I feel like players who have off the field issues always gravitate towards the AFC North. I feel that way, but let me know if you agree with me. Now, as far as the Ravens go, man, I feel like they had a pretty good draft. They definitely addressed their defense, so I expect their defense to be a little bit better, at least in the 2025 season. And I would be a little more excited for this team. It's just I'm not a big Lamar Jackson guy when it comes to January. Like, he's a great player, MVP, once it's week 1 to week 17. But once it starts a new year and he has to play football in January, he's just a different guy, man. And I don't know. I'm just curious what Ravens fans think about just the state of Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh, and the franchise as a whole for the next couple years. I'm curious if you guys are still in the mentality of you think you could go and win a Super Bowl. I don't blame some fans for thinking that just because how special Lamar is, but I mean, we have enough data and proof and tape that this guy just does not know how to overcome the jitters once he has to play in January. So I just don't know, as a fan, if you're honest with yourself, how you could be fired up or optimistic about the Ravens for the next couple of years. But that's just me. But at the other side of that, they are in a good position to make another playoff appearance. I don't think the Steelers are going to be too good for this season. You know, as of right now, they have Mason Rudolph there, and maybe Aaron Rodgers, Will Howard. You know what, man? If Mike Tomlin could take that quarterback room to the postseason in 2025, that would be pretty impressive stuff. But overall, I don't think that team is going to be much of a threat at all. And you know, there's kind of a lot of hype about the Bengals because they re-signed Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, those draft picks don't hit on the defensive side of the ball for the Bengals. I feel like they're going to have a really similar season to what they had in 2024. Yeah, they almost made the playoffs, but I don't know, man. It's just like that defense was historically bad, and I'm sure it'll be a little bit better, but in order to win a championship, I feel like you have to have at least an average defense. And will the Bengals have an average defense in 2025? Maybe, but I don't really see that. I kind of see them being like a top 25 defense overall, but we'll see. You never know. Like, we don't know. Maybe all their draft picks on the defensive side will hit. We'll have to find out. Then you have the Browns, who are just essentially just throwing everything at the wall and just are in kind of a rebuild right now with Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Shador. So I guess if you're a Ravens fan, you have that to be kind of optimistic. You play in a pretty weak division right now, in my opinion, especially if Joe Burrow gets hurt this year, which, based on the patterns of his career, he should. Every other year, he suffers a pretty serious injury. So he was completely healthy in 2024. So if the trend continues, I expect Joe Burrow to get hurt in 2025. So I expect the Baltimore Ravens to win the division once again in 2025. I feel like it should be a pretty easy crown. But will Lamar improve of his previous playoff woes? I'm not sure. I'm not a believer. But maybe if you're listening to this video, you are a believer. And if you are, let me know why you're a believer. And can you try to give me a quick sales pitch on why I should be optimistic for the Ravens for the next couple of years and why they can maybe win a Super Bowl with John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson? I want to believe, man. I want to believe. So yeah, man, if you made this far, please subscribe and like the vid. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
They're back at the line after that catch for a first down. He'll throw it over the middle. Intercepted. Taking off. The Jets offense back on the field as this game has turned into just a big mess, Phil, as no one seems to be able to hold on to the football.
Nobody can hold on to the football. The play is sloppy.
The defense gets the sack.
Well, if I was that quarterback, I'd be mad after getting sacked like that by the defensive end. Your offensive tackle's just got to do a better job.
The Jets have it at the 44. Morris looking for a lane. Tackle made by Bird that time.
Nice run that time. When you run the football like this, Over a period of time, it's going to wear that defense out. There's no doubt about it. Nice job on the offensive line.
And intercepted. Tackles made. Just out of the first quarter, and we'll see now.